All right. This is MDB, Modified Darvas Box, coming at you here on. Oh, is the volume on? Yes, it looks like it's on. Thank God. And I'm coming at you here with a new, fresh video at looks like 10:17 a.m. on Saturday, August 2nd. Hope everybody had a good week, and we're getting into the weekend. And finally, there's actually something to talk about in the market. This frozen rope rally, which has just been going on, probably just a shit ton of short covering and whatever, has just gotten a big fat signal that maybe it's finally over and things are going to change. But again, signals, but we have to see the reaction to the signals. So that prompted me to want to actually do a video. It's my first one in a couple months because before there just wasn't anything to talk about. Just buy, go long, sit down, shut up, and book your profits. So let's get into it. For anybody who's never watched one of my videos, I am an independent trader, investor. I've been doing this a very long time. I placed my first trade in 1995, so I've been through a lot of different markets. Been around, and I've created my own unique investing system based on the book "How I Made $2 Million in the Stock Market" by Nicholas Darvas. It's considered an investing classic. Many people read it and think it's a cute story book. I saw it as a very serious system, but over the years I've developed my own unique stuff, and I learned and adopted several principles from the Strat strategy founded by Rob Smith. So another good one, and the whole idea is you see good ideas, you add them into what makes sense for you, and you create your own system. You can see here I got charts with different symbols and stuff on it. My core time frame, and time frames are important. Core time frame is weekly, and I've got six lists here which I keep stocks on. We're going to look at the top four, but I'm always moving stocks around. So, and I always start here at indexes because you want to get the big picture view. So let's get right into it and take a look at the big picture. And what is these signals which, have prompted a change in the market? Okay, first one here is the AMZ. I've got a separate income fund with MLPs and closed end fund CEFs, which generates income for me, and so I always keep tabs on it. It's had a lovely trend up and then some volatility here, but going sideways. This is based on oil and gas. So to me, that looks just fine. And if I'm going to switch time frames, I'll switch maybe to a monthly. Monthly looks fine. You've got box ranges, which if you're a Darvas fan, boxes are basically bases, or ranges. There's nothing magical about it, but it's a framing tool. And the decision making, which I do, is I've got bars that are different colors. So you see right here, different colored bars. The grays here are inside bars, but I've got other colored bars. We'll look here on ARC, Kathy Wood. So, bearish bars, which we're going to see a bunch of these, are these pink bars, which are basically, in my system, that means sit up and pay attention. The market is talking, and nothing's guaranteed, but they have a bearish tilt. You see right here, signal, and the reaction was definitely bearish on that one back then. But then we've got blue bars here, which are the same as pinks, but bullish. Yeah, bullish, and went up a little bit. Then I've got yellow bars, which are buys, definitely strong buy signals. Sit up. You may want to consider paying attention and buying. And then the opposite is a white bar signal. Do I have an example? Well, we'll see a couple during the video here. And then you get inside bars, and inside bars are valid signals, but they occur quite frequently. And the way you do an inside signal, just you mark it and then you set alerts, and whichever way the price breaks up or down, you're either buying or selling. It's as simple as that, 50-50. And my whole deal is keeping this shit simple. Other bars, oh, I forgot hammers and shooters. Hammer bar in orange, that's very bullish. Shooter bar, same color, that's bearish. We're going to see a bunch of those also. But, all I do is I have these colors on my charts, and it's all programmed to show me it. So I've got the box range, and, strong markets, you see box breakouts. Weak markets, you see box breakdowns, like this was a box breakdown. You see the big red volume there. And then you get various signals. Trade the signals. That's it. That's it. Keep it simple. Everybody's got moving averages and the 10, the 20, the 50, blah, blah, blah. I'm actually not a fan of moving averages at all. I think they're kind of useless, and I think they mess with your mind. Now, in a strong trend, there's validity to having a moving average and following it. But what's hilarious is you never really follow the moving average. Whoopsie. What is going on there? Most traders have tons of moving averages, but they never follow them. And then the question is, when price hits the moving average, what do? Are you selling or are you adding? I don't know. And are you supposed to act on the 10 day? Or are you supposed to act on the 20 day? Or are you supposed to act on the 50 day? Or the 17 day? Or the 25 day? It just makes my brain hurt. I prefer definitive signals. It either is and it turns color, or it isn't and it doesn't turn color. That's it. So that's my rant and spiel about moving averages. All right, let's get into it. BZJ oil. Oil's going sideways, a little up, but nothing crazy. Gas prices might be coming down, but here's the big signal. NASDAQ. Hey, look at that. We've got a pink bar warning signal. This means sit up and pay attention. There might be a shift coming in the market. Notice here, the last signal, when I last did videos and I was pounding the table, we got a buy. I was a buyer down in here. And because sentiment was just crazy in the dumps, and I got great prices down here. And I documented that on Twitter, by the way. Other people claim they caught the bottom. Yeah, I caught the bottom. But then you had an inside bar here for anybody who was undecided. And once the market made up its mind by going above that line, it was all uptrend, baby. You had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 weeks of uptrend, where all you had to sit and do nothing. If you bought the right stuff, you made bank. But it was very hard to lose money in this period. Let's put it that way. And mostly, I think, around this section, probably in that section there, it was more value-based. Okay, the economy's not bad. And then from here on, it was probably all short covering, and man, everybody who was wrong down in here just canceled their positions during that run. So anyways, but you see we've got a signal here. Sit up and pay attention. And because if we're going to have trend change, well, this may be the signal here. And notice prior pink bars, signals. And then what happened? Clunk. So we're paying attention to signals. All right, Ethereum, because this is alphabetical order. Ethereum, pink bar signal. Sit up, pay attention. Sure, it had the box breakout, but whoop, is something going to change there? I don't know. FFTY, this is a growth proxy. Interesting. It didn't have a pink bar signal, but it did have some big ass volume. Interesting. Money's being taken off the table. Would that be a fair assessment? If you're a big institution, you've been riding the wave for 15 weeks, time to cash in. Money for your investors. Get paid. Earn your quarterly bonuses or your mid-year bonus or whatever. Lock in the year. Make sure you get paid. Number one. China tried to break out, coming back down. There's a lot of China bulls out there, but I don't know. I'm skeptical. But hey, the chart looks overall positive at the moment. We'll see. Gold. That there's a hammer bar. So the Nasdaq was ooh boy, maybe we're going to sell some stuff. Maybe the trend's going to change. Well, gold, maybe the trend's going to change upwards. It's already been on a lovely uptrend since way back in here. I stupidly sold it, but it's all right. Mistakes happen all the time. But there's a signal. How many signals have there been since January? Well, only here, 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 a few insides, and then boom. Non-inside bar signals. 1, 2, and 3. Those are your times to make a decision. That's what being a signals-based trader is all about. Make your life easier. Junk bonds. Well, junk moved up here. Come down a little bit. No boxes, ranges, or anything because I had to see this top right here. I thought that was the high price. Nope, there's the high price. And I require at least 3 weeks to create a box. So, yeah, this looks relatively benign, which is good because if the economy's going in the tanker, then junk is going to be, dropping like crazy. Insurance is coming down. Interesting. So, well, still sideways, but you see, there's that white bar signal right there, which I mentioned. But yeah, the insurance is going sideways. Anybody's car insurance going down? I got one friend who said that their insurance went down. I'm like, I'm gonna spit out my drink. I'm like, are you kidding? So it's worth looking and seeing if you can get a car insurance discount. I bet. What do we got here? Okay, volume analysis. So we've got a box breakout, very mild here. You see the volume's mild. Then buyers came in. It's time, baby. But then look, the sellers stepped up and started punching sell tickets. Bigger bar than the green bar. That tells me that this little run here has run into some resistance. And until we see some more, we're probably not going to see much action in Bitcoin. Maybe some downward because the selling was bigger than the buying. That would cause some people to have a big conniption fit. Here we go. Software. Pink bar signal. Sit up. Pay attention. Here's a question. With AI, is software in trouble because of AI? Is AI going to replace software, basically? Maybe. I don't know. Housing's trying to make a comeback. Look at this. See how the volume came in, box breakout? But it's not looking super duper strong. I mean, interest rates are still high, but probably coming down. But that's a hammer signal. So that's bullish, but we'll see. This is really choppy. Look at that. Green, green, red, green, red. There's a lot of mixed opinions. Microcaps doing nothing, just following the market. That's a subordinate. Same as the IWM. Just trash. Just don't even look at it. Healthcare, sideways, but it's been in a downtrend since, whoops, didn't mean to move that. It's been a downtrend since September. Healthcare, avoid. You think United Health is a great buy? I've got a chart of that. All I can say is not yet. Look at this, transports. Ooh, that's a big chunk of selling. Well, what the hell's going on in transports, like trucking and stuff like that? Yeesh. Well, that's a box breakout failure. That's not so hot. QQQs, pink bar warning signals, sit up and pay attention. And look here. The big buying in the QQQs here. Then it went quiet, it did its trend thing. Quiet, quiet, quiet. But there hasn't been any huge piling into the Qs, and we've gotten some reds. It's always interesting when the greens are absent. Any price can go up if there's a lack of opposite pressure, but now we've gotten some opposite pressure, so we'll see what happens. RSP, equal weighted S&P, well, that got sort of punched in the face, but it's still up above, but I wouldn't be wildly bullish on that. Retail, pink bar signal, and a box failure. Now, I mentioned Amazon is probably a part of that ETF, I think. But where is it? The component watch list. Well, this isn't by market cap, but you see Amazon probably contributed to that. But either way, sideways action. Where's the bull market? It's a giant bull market, right? Well, wait a minute. Why didn't retail participate? So you got to be skeptical and be a snob. Believe the chart. Don't believe the news. Short-term rates going up a little bit. That means rates are coming down. Here we go. Semiconductors. Pink bar signal. Sit up. Pay attention. Now notice here. It went sideways forever here. Dropped down during the panic of April. Huge rebound. Look at the volume. Huge. And then trended, and then did the same thing as the NASDAQ, then trended back up. Sure, it broke out of the box, but now what's going to happen? Go back down, maybe form a new one. S&P 500, pink bar warning signal. You see how the market is telling us something? We see it over and over and over again, chart after chart after chart. And this is just indexes. Something happened, and now the market is telling us, pay attention. The real key, though, will be next week. Will prices keep going down and that become a meaningful signal? Or will buyers do their analysis this weekend and step up and say, no, the future is bright and we're going higher, et cetera, and we're buying. So the reaction next week is going to tell us a lot. I personally think it's probably going to shift and go down a bit because valuations are very high. But high valuation never stopped anything. So valuations are a secondary tool. SPY is just confirming what happened on the S&P. Notice here, SPY volume, so S&P 500 volume. Sure, you see volume down here, but where does that volume come from? I like to confirm it with the SPYs because that's ETF. There really hasn't been very little volume. The biggest volume since April is a sell volume. Interesting. Oh, but back to the volume. But look at the relative size of the green bar. I mean, if that didn't convince you that market players stepped up and bought, then if that didn't convince you, then nothing else will. What else will? So paying attention to the charts and being prepared. And sometimes you just got to buy and just hold your nose and just do it and see what happens. Sentiment. Sentiment's down in the dumps, but this is McClellan Oscillator. This is more of a short-term sentiment. Look at that. It's down in the dumps already. This tends to snap back when it's down here. So maybe next week, the reaction, talking about reactions, maybe the reaction next week isn't panic. But we'll see. We'll be able to evaluate. Stocks above the 200-day. There's that panic in April. It was charts like this which helped me just be like, I'm buying. I don't care. Because when sentiment goes below the green bar, that means buy. Buy, baby. Buy. Just buy. There's the COVID buys right here. Here's the other panics. I forget what that one was. And then this panic right here. So the track record holds up on that one. Stocks above the 40-day. Well, that's a pretty big drop from 63 down to 36. And that's percentage of stocks in the market. So How many stocks just crashed through their moving averages? Wait, I thought moving averages are supposed to be buying. You're supposed to be selling? Ay, ay, ay. Uh, I am nothing if not opinionated. Lots of opinions, loosely held. What do we got? The tan, solar going up here. I personally don't like solar. I think they're ugly. The windmills are stupid. Wind power is stupid, and it slaughters birds and kills whales. It's so dumb. Uh, TLTs. Oh, look at that. Yellow bar buy signal. And look, it had a hammer signal here also. And yep, this could be a box. I should have drawn that. Doo, doo, doo. That there's a box breakout in treasuries, which means people are buying treasuries, which means if the economy is going to get weaker, treasuries are a place you want to be because equities will all of a sudden become too risky. And bonds, hey, maybe I'm making my 4% or 5% interest payments. Bonds become a great place. So, bonds, safety, equities, risky. You see why the market is, uh, paying attention. Now there's finally something to talk about. Well, we'll see what happens in the next couple of weeks. How about the VIX? The VIX panic again. More indicators, which is why I was buying in early April. When the VIX is this high, just buy it. But VIX came down, and now we're moving a little back up. That's actually a pretty big bar, one move, but okay. VNQ REITs. Oh, there you go. White bar sell signal there. XLE Energy, sort of just a mess. Who cares? Finance. Well, a box breakout and then a failure. But yeah, we'll see. The one bullish area I saw, energy, XLU, utilities. Well, if demand for electricity for AI, is real, well, look at this. This is probably going to go crazy. We bought some of this in the family trust, and yeah, just buy it and sit on it. Let it do its thing. All right, let's see here. Rant. Let's go into the next list. So, list 2, textbook box breakout leaders. Well, AOI is the first one. This one had a box breakout right there with a yellow bar, big green volume. That's the playbook right there. Pattern matching. That's what you do as a trader. You pattern match off the chart. And look at that. Box breakout. Up, up, up. Well, and inside 50-50. It went up, but then if you bought it, you got stopped out. And now clunk. But it's still technically a breakout because it's above. It hasn't done anything wrong. I give it another week or so, and then it'll come off the list. Apple. Apple actually had a box breakout right here, but look at that. Failure. Oh, and notice these bars are all red because see this moving average line? I use a single moving average, and my coding is if price is below that, code it red. If price is above it, code it green. So this shows me that even though Apple moved a little bit, it's still in a downtrend because it's below this moving average. And that's just a red light, green light moving average. Look where it stopped, at this stupid moving average. Was I buying Apple? No. Although every mutual fund in America holds Apple. But look at that. A breakout failure. This shouldn't even be on this list. Let's put it in the bearish one. AMD. Okay. This was a terrific box breakout right here. AMD is amazing because it went sideways, did nothing, got weak in here, volume was low, and then it got sold down. I actually shorted it, made a little bit of money. Look at that, red, 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 red. But then it bottomed. Look at the big green here. I covered right there, by the way. And then had this little base box range, and then it broke out here in a yellow bar. Now I noted it, but I wasn't ready to buy it. And then it went two inside bars in a row. Two in a row is very valid. And so I stepped up, bought, and easy money. Easy money, rode the trend, and now I sold it this past week because while this is a bearish shooter bar. Now the bearish shooter bar has not activated yet, but with everything else in technology all having the same thing, I was like, just screw it, just take the money. I didn't want to deal with it. And watch, if it's also got earnings here on August 5th coming up in this week. So I'm just like, I just don't want to just have it drop down like this, but I'll feel really stupid if it keeps going, and it's just amazing. But if it's Big Brother Nvidia has the same deal, well, I was like, eh. And by the way, this will stay in the box breakout, but yeah, that is a bearish signal. But whether it triggers or not, up for debate. But I took the money. I'm in the mood these days of I'd rather take the money and then feel stupid after than hold and get smacked. And especially if the market is changing as a whole, well, the risk is higher. ASTS, box breakout here, textbook. It's been going up, up, up. There's only been one signal, inside bar here. Relatively benign. I mean, if you panicked out right there, okay, well, that's on you. But usually if it triggers an inside, maybe you got to give it, time during the day in case it rebounds, stuff like that. And but otherwise it looks great. Well, it's not great coin. Okay, huge breakout. Look at this move, up, up, up. First inside bar, yeah, looks fine. It's almost a hammer. Then this one right here, and then clunk. Wow, this went from 390 down to 314. Ouch. I think that was earnings. Yeah, that was earnings. Oh yeah, there it is. Clunk. But by the way, on the daily chart, you got some signals here, but my primary view time frame is weekly, so yeah, it just is what it is, But notice here, I missed the whole setup. Sure, it did nothing here, but then boom, this big volume bar on a yellow, it went sideways, but going sideways based off that, you should get very interested. And then look how it ran, but I missed it. But I don't feel too bad about it because coin has a reputation of doing this kind of crap. Huge up and then clunk, so is what it is. DHI, box breakout. This is housing, probably the number one leader in housing. This looks bullish, but some of the other housing doesn't. So, GE, General Electric, box breakout. Did any signals in GE? Nope. And GE's like in power generation and stuff like that. So there you go. Everything's interrelated, interconnected. Morgan, pink bar, pay attention signal. Something's up. But my dad has a ton of JP Morgan and he's not worried. He loves Jamie Dimon, but Morgan looks fine. But again, we're going to pay attention and see what happens off of this. Lennar, this is a box breakout, a home builder, but this looks like crap. So, yeah, it qualifies, and I kept it here just to keep an eye on the difference, but DHI looks way better than Len. So, housing sort of mixed. This little guy, LEU, oof, what a move. I didn't buy it. You can't buy everything. And it's only got like 16 million shares. But man, look at that. Look at that run. Love it. Meta. God, I can't stand Zuckerberg, but the dude knows how to make money. Jesus. He is smart as can be. Although I tweeted something which I learned where they intercepted data, and to me that sounds illegal, but I mean, I'm just one person. But this here is a box breakout, and it's looking amazing. Box breakout failure. NNE breakout moved higher. Clunk fail. This shouldn't be here. We'll put this in bearish. This thing oust. I don't even know how to pronounce that. Box breakout moving up, although it's getting pretty wide and loose, sloppy in here. But if you bought it down anywhere, look, yellow bar signal, yellow here also. But if you bought it down in here, just there's no reason to panic. Just are you in for a few bucks, or do you want to see if it keeps going higher? There's no red, no big red sell bars. So keep that in mind. PI, one of the oddballest stocks out there. It goes up when everything's down, and it goes down when everything's up. Enough to drive you nuts. But look at that. That's a beauty right there. RKLB, I still own this one. I'm long. Bought it down here in the April panic. This looks great. Any red? No. Box breakout? No. Rocket Mortgage. I own Rocket. I bought it back in here because this all got me excited. But big green followed by big red means, yeah, it's not ready yet. But this green volume here, it's beginning to move. Maybe Powell's going to cut interest rates. SE. Oh, yeah, the box breakout here, but then it clunked, and now it's going sideways. This shouldn't be here. I'll put this back into watching. SEI. So, a difficult one because it's so choppy, but yellow bar signal, sideways, a breakout, pulls back, failed. Big breakout again here, and then look at that. The sellers stepped up here. Man, this one's just too hard. It qualifies still as a breakout, but man, look how difficult this one is. Just no. This one, again, energy. SMR, look at that. The yellow bar signal. Look at the volume. Boom, 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 poured into it. Volume, volume, volume. Breakout, but then things have gotten funky and now a pink bar, but this is still a valid breakout. Shark Ninja. Okay, study the volume. Right here, pink bar, big red, followed by big green. Investors were like, no, it's all right. Big red, where'd the green? Well, look how it dropped. But then broke down here, but then look. They stepped up again and bought. And where did it go from there? It went back up to here. That's almost a double. Call it average 70 to 120. $50. Pretty good. So this is a box breakout. It's got the volume in the right spot. A little pullback, but it is what it is. The Stinger. What did I say about double inside right here? Inside, inside. I see double inside. I'm a buyer. Bought, and so far so good. Box breakout, and we'll see what happens. This is oil tankers, shipping. Plus you get a little bit of a dividend. But see how it all sort of collapsed here? And you don't pick bottoms. You wait for signals. You're waiting for big green volume or hammer bars or stuff like that. That's how you find a bottom. But this is where it all went wrong. If you were long up here, this was your last chance to get out. And then it got crushed. And that's it for the breakout list. And notice, not a very big list. Bullish. All right, now we're in bullish stuff. This is stuff that's bullish, but didn't meet the pattern requirements of the prior list. A-Lab, tortured everybody in this tight range in here. And I mean, it was pure torture from what it looks like. I don't have any, but it finally went, and now it's up, and now it's sort of figuring it out. But so far, so good. ARQQ, sort of sideways. I had bought it here, and I sold it here prior week, mainly because when you get to the top of the box and things get really funky, that is signal itself. So you see the daily time frame. Uh, it tried to break out here, and I was like, all right. Then it pulled back, and it's like, all right, whatever. Bear shooter bar here, bear shooter bar here. And at that point, I'm like, they're fighting it. They're fighting it up here. They're not going to let it go higher. I mean, it went up to frickin' 50. Uh, it went to 50 and then came right back down. So at that point, I'm like, all right, I'll bail. And I bailed on this day right after. But a good trade, you know, double, more than double. I'll take that. And yet I also want to point out something. Well, I took profit. Overall, the stock looks fine. Meaning it's at the bottom of the box. Maybe it should be bought there or maybe not. Hard to tell. On the daily, any big green volume, there's nothing there. There's nothing there to indicate that we should step up at this level. And if the market does sell off, well, why wouldn't it go down more? But you see, keeping an open mind. But there's no signals at the moment, but hey, just keep watching it. Broadcom. Interesting that Broadcom didn't get a pink bar. Boeing. Positive. I bought Boeing for the family trust right in here. I've always felt Boeing is supremely undervalued. There's demand for planes. Yeah, they had problems with manufacturing. I believe they'll fix them over time. Problems will get solved, and Boeing will make money. And so far, pink, pay attention. The reaction was benign. Now we got another pink. Hopefully the reaction's benign. We'll see. Caterpillar, looking fine. CEG, this is utilities, power. Not the most dynamic breakouts, but it's definitely uptrending. Cell H, uptrending. And this is not a new box here because you see right here, closed at 46.56, 46.64. It's formed a new high here, closing high. It's not ready yet, but I tried it back in here. I just couldn't sit still and let it happen. So I bailed out of there. Cost average when you buy can be very important. Like this was just a lousy buy based on the subsequent action. This was just a lousy spot and I couldn't really hold it. And I wasn't about to sit on a loss and maybe let it go lower. So other people can deal with it. Dave with the dumbest company, but hey, it's been great. And look at that. It had a huge long box. The breakout here, God, I should have bought it, but hindsight. Then it went and had all this chop and all that. And if you had conviction, you held during all this. But then the big breakout here. But now the big pink signal here. But here's very positive. Look at the volume. Big red, yeah, but huge green. Investors said, no, we love Dave. Dave's our guy. So, if they stepped up with their money tickets here in this range, why would it keep going down? The time to have been buying is somewhere in here. You could have bought at 194 and now you're up $40. Interpret the chart. Deckers. Huge white bar sell signal. All it did was crash. Went through all this stuff right here. Is there any buy signal in here? Well, double inside, but it never triggered. Right there. You see that line right there across? Now, that would have gotten me interested, but I was involved in other stuff and I wasn't ready to step up. But It didn't really trigger. And then look at this, the big red crash down again. Then they stepped up here, signal here, look at that. And now it's come back down. Now there's an argument here that 103, you see the hammer bar? The high was 102.67, followed by bigger buyers here. There's no real, the selling was muted. So there's an argument that this may be a good level. Now, I'm not going to step up and buy it, but there's an argument. And if it does start going back up, and well, there you have it. Dell moving up a little bit. Nothing crazy, but positive. FSLR, bullish mildly, but I could care less about solar. GEV, amazing. Just keeps going up. Any warning signals up in this one? None. So why would you panic and sell this? You wouldn't. You'd keep it. HIMS, that's a box breakout, but volume is low. I think the biggest red flag for me on this is that that drug partner said they had safety concerns. Man, I'm not taking any pills that's got safety concerns. That is risky, but looks positive. Hood, I sold Hood up here, felt stupid, but look at it now. It's now below where I sold it. I don't feel stupid anymore. This whole thing, it looks benign though. And inside, not much selling, so yeah, see what happens, but I'm very personally happy I don't feel so stupid. At the moment, that could change. Interactive, God, I hate their software, but their interface for trading, but man, they do a good job. The Joby thing, I have no idea but there's a lot of green volume. But this is that's a hammer, but it failed, so inside, but maybe it forms a box, maybe? I don't know. Some people have said it's a high tight flag. I don't see it, but maybe it develops. I don't know. And notice here, don't be afraid to say, I don't know. You're not expected to know every stock. I don't expect that. I've been doing this shit for 30 years. If you don't know, say you don't know. It just makes it easier on everybody. This one right here, Oklo, definitely a ripper, but I don't really see much negative. I don't own it, but it's a hot one. Oracle, signal here, but not. It looks benign. It's not really a hammer. It's a hammer, but a low volume hammer. So it may just follow the market, but Oracle's hot. PLTR, I stupidly sold it here. And I'm dumb. Look at that, signal, and then oddly, no signal here. Volume is down, but notice here we've got earnings this week. That's going to be interesting. If it does, let's say it has a bad reaction, you could find yourself at 120 easily, right back where I sold it, top of the box. Or maybe it rips higher and we all look really dumb. I don't know. We shall see. Qubits, QBTS. I actually own this one. I'm still long it. You see any big signals in here? Nope. And I've only got 4 longs at this point. I've got 5 shorts, 4 longs, 5 shorts. The longs are Rocket Labs, Sting, and QBTS. Those are the only longs I got because I've taken profits and everything else. Take the money. Leave the cannoli. Reddit, yellow bar signal. I'm not a big Reddit fan. This huge box here. I made a little money shorting it, but just not easy. And I've been on Reddit. I'm not impressed, but yeah, I guess people go on it. Shop. See, it's an uptrend. It came out of a box, but it came out on low volume. That's why it's on list 3. Upstart, same deal. What business do they do? uh, how long is it going to take Upstart to get back up to 370 to 400? Maybe a long time. I don't know. What do they do? er, uh, er, Just say you don't know. URI, good industrial indicator stock. Means the economy is doing pretty decent. New highs. If this is down way down here, then yeah, the economy's having problems. VST, more electrical power. Had the box breakout here, low volume, but man, that's been doing pretty darn good. So if you're in the right sector, you get sucked along. All right, so that does it for bullish stocks. Now the big meat, the bearish ones. Bearish ones meaning they had bearish potential signals. Apple we know about. Amazon, clunk. I am short Amazon right up in here. Big pink bar signal here. I keep hearing AWS is a laggard, and Amazon, the website, kind of sucks these days for retail. I don't shop at Amazon. Maybe you do, but yeah, I think they got problems. So I decided to place a short. We'll see what happens. ANET, the great run here. I shorted it here, covered here on the April thing, and there's a bearish signal. If it triggers, I've got an order in at 115. If it hits, I'll be short that. But it might not trigger, so we'll see what happens. And I am aware that we have earnings coming up, so I'm sort of, going to figure out what to do. ARM, big pink bar signal here. They had their earnings. That doesn't look too good. But is ARM a real short? I don't see anything too crazy. Like, any big selling? It's just going to bounce between in this box range. Bounce, bounce, bounce. So, Berkshire Hathaway. Warren's retired. Is he really gone? But look at that pink bar signal. Now, this is a good proxy for mainstream America. If mainstream America is beginning to struggle, it hasn't. See right here? But if this starts coming down and has a box breakdown, maybe we should get a lot more conservative. The Bros, I bought the Bros down here and suffered through it, and I sold it here, and thank goodness I did, because look how it's come down. That looks like it's ready for a box breakdown. No interest there. Circle, the hot IPO. I did not trade this at all. And look at that, box breakdown. No touchy. CRDO, there's a bearish shooter bar. We'll see what happens. This, though, has been a frozen rope. Look at that. I wish I had bought it. CoreWeave. I am short this one. And look at that. One of my finest works. To reiterate, the volume is pouring in, but then they push back here. The volume overrode it. It pushed back again here. They tried taking it up a third time. Where's the volume? Big rise here. Big rise here. Nothing here. So if they stop buying, well, time to bet against it. And CoreWeave's got certain accounting issues and stuff, which, but again, those are secondary things. The main thing is the chart. I noticed the dry up in volume. DocU, it just looks horrible. I'm tracking an ENPH. Oof. I wish I had been short. I shorted this one. I covered it. I wish I'd just stayed it. But look, here's the problem with shorting. I'm looking for about a 20% gain on them. and then sort of move on. Although if we get more, that's fantastic, but I want it quick. This type of thing, you just have to sit on it and just sit and watch it grind lower. I don't have the patience for that type of a trade. But if you're an institution sitting on it and can wait, then do it. GGAL, Argentina is hot, but, well, they got problems also. So that one's keeping an eye on it. GME is not hot anymore. Look at that. Big red, big red. Oh, the box breakdown. Yeah, GME is the Macarena. Flash in the pan. But if you made good money on it back in the day, congrats. IoT, box breakdown. Monday, big white bar sell signal, although it's a sideways. Moderna. I shorted this one after this earnings. I realize I missed it way back up in here. Gosh, that would have been great. But I just can't stand this company. I think the COVID thing is all tainted with fraud, and I think it's a terrible thing, and I think this company should be wiped out. Strong opinions, right? Microsoft, shooter bar signal. We'll see what happens. MSTR, failed breakout. Box breakout here, failed here. Maybe a failure coming up. Shooter bar signal, but that's bearish on this one. Super choppy. I never traded it, but it was a textbook box breakout, but man, hard. Whoop, come on. NNE, box breakout, and now the failure. Just difficult. Now, software. I am short now, right here, after their earnings. Look at this thing. Big sell bar here, downtrend. Yeah, okay, it came roaring back. Was this justified right here? This huge, all right, whatever. But after this big yellow bar signal, it didn't really do a lot. Formed this box, and I noticed it was just struggling. Then I noticed this right here, and then I noticed the rebound. They tried to rebound it, and then they tried to take it up here, and that's its own bearish shooter bar. So now, bet against it. And like the thing I mentioned, is AI going to eat software companies now? Well, if they are, then this one's in trouble. Well, maybe not in trouble, but look at the long-term chart. This big drop here told me that a lot of conviction was lost. Sure, it had the big rebound, but it didn't stick. So that is a good candidate. NVIDIA, bearish shooter bar. I am short NVIDIA because I've done it before, and I'm like, I shorted from here, covered here. Now my mistake was not buying and holding this big uptrend. I screwed that up, but I'm comfortable with NVIDIA. I think 4 trillion with what they're doing. All right, we'll see. Plus, NVIDIA is really liquid. I mean, you can get out at a moment's notice. So, super liquid. So, if something changes, bang, you can be out in an instant. Risk management. OSCR, difficult. No thanks. But I'll keep an eye on it. PanW, look at that. Big white bar sell signal. Ferrari, look at that. Big white bar sell signal. Are people not buying Ferraris anymore? What's going on? But look how chop fest is. You had a nice tight base here, and ever since then it's been super choppy. You see what I mean? How things are changing in the market. Pay attention. There's finally something to talk about. Roblox, fantastic run. What is that? That's a big shooter bar. We'll see. We'll see the outcome on this. Is it going to go down? It probably won't go down because it's a very promising company, but this means maybe it'll go on a break here. Any decent pull? What if it pulls back to 100? That might be a great buying spot. Rubric, RBRK, had a great trade in here. Signal, sold the signal, and now it's sort of gone sideways. And by the way, you see all this? Look at the red sell volume, then the green stepped up. Some red and then green stepped up, so it's not looking horrible. Might be another buy in the future. This one right here, forming a box. There's that big pink bar. I never heard of this stock until it was all the way up here. Snow, pink bar signal. SoFi, bearish signal, bearish shooter. I love it. They announced these good earnings and then dropped a big secondary on them. And they've already got 1 billion shares outstanding. See right here? 1 billion shares. This is just a big fat whale. You're just not going to make a ton of money on a stock like this because it's got 1 billion shares. It takes a lot of good results to move a 1 billion share company. Spotify. Oh, actually, this shouldn't be a box. It's not done yet. White bar sell signal. What's going on at Spotify? See that right there? The first big red bar since 2023. Is it time to sell the Spotify? It might be. Smart money. It went up here, and then they've been selling it ever since. Oy, T-Doc. So yeah, I make screw-ups also. One fella out there sent me a few DMs saying, why'd you pick T-Doc? Well, I'm taking a chance, you know. I like this one. I like the company news. And nope, did it pan out? Absolutely not. It did not. I still made like a very small profit. But it's like, you know, I tried it here. It failed miserably. The good news is that it fails pretty quick. I'm not perfect, but I do make mistakes. This one, UMAC, I bought it here. It closed here. I thought, this is great. It gapped down and opened down here. I'm like, oh, F that. And yeah, sure, it rebounded, but ever since now price is below where I was playing around with it. Sometimes it takes a week or two for the real stock to show up. So trust in your analysis, and if you don't know, just say I don't know and don't touch it. UNH, look at this. The news, the box breakdown, everybody stepped up here. This is the greatest buy ever. It's so cheap, blah, blah, blah. And now look at it. They're barfing out those positions here. Now, UNH may be a great buy at some point, but look at this. What if it keeps going down? Wait for the signal. Don't do anything until you have a signal. Vert, I finally sold this one in here. It didn't do that much, but, profitable. Are you making money? This one right here, VRT, bearish shooter bar. Oh, one thing on Vert, pink bar. Didn't mention that. Look how close. One here. One here. I sold because it broke the box level. Oh, that should be higher. Yeah, right there. And now look at it the week after. Feels justified. Vindication. So that's what's there. Do I have anything in here? Oh, just SMCI. Bearish shooter bar. This stock's a fraud. Or this one's got problems. Excuse me. And what's in? Well, let's just take you through list 6. We're about it. We just hit 1 hour. Let's just go through here a little bit. These are just stocks I'm keeping an eye on, but I have they haven't done much in patterns. This thing, look at that. Went up, but it's gone from 36 and given back more than 50%. Ouch. Big red volume. I don't even know why I should be watching it. Affirm, doing nothing. Buy now, pay later might be very, well, it looks benign right now. APP, yeah, sideways. They got earnings this week. We'll see. Maybe this is a new breakout. Axon, this is just a hell of a stock. Look at that. Heck of a long-term hold there. Mr. Bill, oh, pink bar signal. Yeah, there's no interest in there. BLDR, pink bar. Remember how I said housing is sort of mixed? Well, this is a housing supplier, right? Well, if the supplier to housing is acting funky, is housing going to be running? Yeah. Kava, I still have never eaten at a Kava. Have you? Just sideways to down. There's that big mover right there. Sure, there's been some green, but nothing special there. Costco, look at that, been coming down the last couple months. Nothing going on here. That actually is too early for a box. Carvana. God, I screwed up Carvana. I don't even want to talk about it. Hell of a reaction. All right, let's confess. I shorted it in here. No, 347 was my number. Like somewhere right there. And I covered here. Whoop, higher. Not my greatest thing. But this company is just, Carvana is just incredible. And I actually sold a car to Carvana too. I was impressed. I thought they did a good job. So try not to be me on that. Dual, look at that. That looks just terrible. Keeping an eye on it, but terrible. The Elf, that's a box breakout. Now it's just been going sideways. ESTC, that's a bad week. Ford Motor Company, ugh. How hard is it to be an international auto manufacturer? Just so difficult. Oh, speaking of, we haven't looked at Tesla. Where'd Tesla go? Geo, it's tons of sideways. GH, ugh, I sold that one here. This is just a mess. Galaxy, nothing special that I can see. Nice move, though. Google, just big sideways. Actually, one nice thing about Google, green, green, green down here. Grail, I don't even know what that is. The GERD, no, I wouldn't touch it, but just keeping an eye on it. IonQ, sideways. This one, oh, box breakdown and pink bar. But they got earnings on the 5th. We'll see. Micron. See, the pullback in technology has been going on for a few more weeks. Net, can't stand Net. I'm thinking of shorting it, but this valuation at 70 billion is just absurd. And look, it's almost back to these stupid highs. But this is a loved stock. I mean, love, love, love. They just love it. Netflix, look at that. 5 weeks of pullback. Steel, pink bar, pay attention. Are things changing in the economy if steel is having some problems? Maybe it's time for the Fed to cut rates. This one just big sideways, keeping an eye on it. Keeping an eye on this one, sideways. Root, sideways. This is defense, up. There's SE. TM. I follow a few traders on Twitter and they keep talking about TEM. And I keep saying, like, no, there's nothing here. There are no setups. They keep insisting that there are setups, but I tell you, I'm in complete disagreement. So I just am amused. I chuckle every time I see this one. TG, look at that right there. Just doing nothing sideways. This one right here formed a new box. Big volume here, though. Just keep an eye on stuff. Uber, But Ackman bought it back in here. Long term, Uber's probably going to be great. And the Venom, just show you oil and gas coming down. Walmart, sideways. And the Zim shipping, nothing's going on. So anyway, so that is the list. And sorry I've gone a little beyond the time I allotted, but I felt it's worth it to check it out. A lot to talk about, and we're going to have a big week next week because we're going to see the reactions to all these signals, and that's really going to tell us, is this run really over, or is there some potential or not? And then lastly, be sure to look at your monthly charts because you can see signals on monthly charts that maybe weekly charts don't show you because we just started a new month. So keep an eye on that. All right. Hope you enjoyed this video. Have a great week. Bye-bye.